This is part 2 of the video. And I don't know if I'm getting spiritual attacks or what, but I just made another part 2 and it got cut off in the other video that I made, not part 1, but another video I just made. It was attacked by the enemy. But anyway, I don't want to focus on the enemy, but I just was saying in the previous video that we have to pay attention to what's going on around us. There's a lot of so-called aliens, and those aliens, I said this, those aren't aliens or whatever from another. They're fallen angels. They're demons. People refer to them as demons. They're not anything. There's nothing that is not created by God that exists. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All creation, everything that exists was created by God. So, is created by the creator of all things, the Yah, the Messiah, the Most High God. So anyway, this is a spiritual battle that we're fighting. I want to stay on track. Look at the way things are happening. Before, as I mentioned in the video before we had more of a physical, like we were more in control. And, the demons would be around. People would get attacked by demons and stuff like that. But like now we're moving in that realm. So that's why so many weird things are happening. We're moving in a spiritual realm. Like they got more control than we do if you're not saved. But before, if you weren't saved, they really didn't. They had it, but it wasn't like it is now. I don't know. I hope I'm making sense. I hope this doesn't sound like rambling because I'm saying something here. So the enemy had control, but it wasn't like now. It's like they have physical control. And it's, I said in a previous video that, your thoughts cannot be read, but they can be interpreted, or they can be, people can see what your next move is going to be. They do this to people that are paraplegic, and I've been watching this thing for years and how it's been unfolding. And technology has a lot to do with how the enemy is, in my opinion, how the enemy is using technology for in our physical world, this world that we live in, that we humans are supposed to have control over. The enemy is using that to control our physical world. So if you think about, there's two things that are physically here that are spiritual. One is called a parasite, and it emulates demons. And I'm going to get into this, not today, but later on. It's very deep. You need to watch Nastasia Grace on YouTube. She's got all this cover, all this research and stuff. And two is technology. But like I say this all the time: what the enemy means for bad, God will make it for his good. And God is always in complete control over all things. There's nothing that the Lord is not in control over. So the enemy uses technology to control the physical realm. And if you think about how people are influenced just to get attention on the internet, like they do stuff to, like I think about 10 years ago, teenagers were lighting their stuff on fire and posting it, and this is the atmosphere, the realm that we're living in now. People are being influenced by the enemy. That right there, to light yourself on fire, a teenager, that is influenced by the enemy to hurt themselves or kill it. They were pouring, like rubbing alcohol on themselves and lighting themselves on fire. That right there is an influence by the enemy. It is not from the Father. And there were so many that were doing it. And this is just one example, but there were so many that were doing that, and now there's many more things, so many that were doing that um, you could tell that was from the enemy. Hurt yourself, light yourself on fire. Any feeble-minded or little child knows that fire burns and you shouldn't play with fire. But these kids were rubbing alcohol on themselves and getting second and third degree burns permanently, physically having permanent changes, and some of them were succumbing to this. And so that's one example and one proof of how the enemy is using the internet to influence the environment or the ecosystem or the physical world that we're living in. Ecosystem is just a fancy word for saying the place that we live, the environment that we live in. The earth is our ecosystem.